Hello everyone, it's Heather. I had the idea to do a video about my travel wish list. But then I got to thinking that if I did my whole travel wish list, because my wish list is very long, that the video might end up being too long. So I'm going to actually divide this into three separate videos. One on cruises, one on theme parks, and one on other destinations. So today's video is going to be about my cruise travel wish list. First off, let me tell you which cruises I've been on already. I have been on 4 cruises to date. A 7-night Eastern Caribbean on the Disney Magic with my son, my oldest son. A 7-night Eastern Caribbean on Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas with my then husband. That was actually my honeymoon. A 4-night Bahamas cruise on the Disney Wonder with my dad, my husband, and my 2 oldest kids. And a 4-night Bahamas cruise on the Disney Wonder again with me and my 3 children. And that was the most recent one. That was just 15 months ago. And I guess if I had to pick a favorite, I would say the 7-night Eastern Caribbean on the Magic was my favorite. We really had a lot of fun on that. And if I could afford to do it all the time, I would only go on 7-night cruises or longer. I currently have 3 cruises booked. So by this time next year, I will have been on 7 cruises. The 3 cruises I booked, which I talked about in my last video on traveling as a single mom, coming up in August, in just a couple months, a 4-night Bahamas cruise on Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Seas. And then in March of 2019, we're doing a 5-night Western Caribbean on the Disney Magic. And then in June of 2019, we're doing a 7-night Eastern Caribbean on Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas. So that's what we have coming up. Now, for my cruise wish list, I'm going to further subdivide my wish list here into 3 different things about cruising. The first one's going to be cruise lines, other cruise lines I would like to try. The second would be cruise ships, specific ships that I'd like to try. And the third would be specific cruise itineraries. Okay, so first of all, cruise lines. So as you can tell, I've already been on Disney and Royal Caribbean. And the other lines that I'm interested in trying, and I would appreciate your comments about what you think of them, especially if you've also been on Disney or Royal Caribbean so I can compare. Leave me comments below on which cruise lines you like and which ones you'd like to try. I would like to try Princess. I've heard basically positive things about Princess, and also Princess kind of has a, not a monopoly, but a good demand on the market off the West Coast. If you're interested in doing like a California cruise or a cruise to Hawaii, like one of the 14-day cruises that goes all the way across the Pacific to Hawaii, or Alaska. Now, obviously, they're not the only cruise line that goes to Alaska, but they have a pretty good hold on the market there. So that's one of the reasons I'm interested in Princess. And there's some things I'm interested in about just trying them out. Another cruise line that I'm interested in trying is Celebrity. Celebrity is owned by it's the same company as Royal Caribbean, but it's kind of a notch above. And I've heard and read only positive things about Celebrity. So I'd really like to try Celebrity. And other than that, those would be the 2 main ones that I'm interested in trying. And I've gone back and forth about Norwegian. I'm not that keen on the whole how they do their dining. And I don't know, I've just read a few iffy things about Norwegian that makes me have a few reservations. And I think the party, loud atmosphere of Carnival wouldn't appeal to me. But, maybe I'm wrong. If there's certain ships that maybe it's not that much like that. Anyway, so that's with cruise lines. Okay, for cruise ships specifically, there's basically 2 things here that 3. Within the lines I've already been on, Royal Caribbean, one of my goals is I would really like to try sailing on every one of their ship classes. If you go to Royal Caribbean's website, you can see what the different class of ships are. So a year from now, I'm gonna skip the Monarch class. My son went on the Monarch of the Seas, and that's actually technically the only ship left in that class. They sold off the Majesty of the Seas. The Empress of the Seas is a little different. That one goes to Cuba. I don't really have any interest in going to Cuba. So I'm gonna skip that class. My son told me enough about it that I get the gist. Um, I've been on the Voyager class before, the Explorer, and we're going on the Voyager class again because the Mariner's in that class. I have not been on the Radiance class, and I would really like to try the Radiance class with Royal Caribbean. My understanding is that they're very beautiful ships with a lot of glass and windows and a lot of connection to the ocean, which really appeals to me. And also, I've read that they have a lot of very traditional kind of nautical theming elements. So I'd really like to do one of the Radiance class ships. Have not been on the Freedom class yet and have not been on the Oasis class yet, but we are going on an Oasis class ship, the Harmony of the Seas, in June. So, and I have not been on a Quantum class ship. So those would be the other ones that I'd want to try. Would be the Freedom class, the Radiance class, and the Quantum class. Then Disney, I would really like to sail on all 4 of their ships, and they have, I think now it's 3. They have 3 more ships scheduled to be built. And so eventually there will be 7. So I would like to be on every Disney ship. They're very beautiful ships, and each one is a little different. And the Wonder, since I've been on that twice, was different, not in a huge way, but very nice. We went on it shortly after its last dry dock, and it was very nice, really nice upgrades. The Magic will be the same thing because that one's been reimagined since the last time I was on it. But I'd like to go on the Fantasy, although that one, the money, it's so expensive, and I don't know how I'd ever afford to do it with all my kids, so it might have to wait until it's just Ben and me, and just the 2 of us go. I don't know. Or I go by myself. And then the Dream. The Dream is more reasonable, so I'm sure we'll do the Dream sometime. And then whatever the new 3 ships are. So that would be my kind of goal with ships themselves. And then for itineraries, the other itineraries that I'm interested in, I'd really like to do Alaska. I'd really like to do a Hawaiian cruise out of California, and have lots of sea days. I think that would be really neat. I'd really like to do a transatlantic crossing sometime. And I would very much like to do anything Northern Europe. A Baltic cruise really interests me. Or Norwegian fjords, or around the British Isles. Any of those really appeal to me. For some reason, I'm just not that interested in a Mediterranean cruise. So if you've been on a Mediterranean cruise and you just loved it, tell me why in the comments below. And then I'd like to do a European river cruise. And I don't really care about which company, Viking, Talk, whatever, Uniworld. But I'd like to do a European river cruise, and I'd be interested to hear your comments about that too. If you've taken a river cruise in Europe, what you've thought of it, which river did you go on? I'd mostly be interested in going to cities like Prague, Budapest, that part. And then the ultimate on my cruise wish list is a world cruise. I would like, that actually goes on my bucket list. I would very much like to do a world cruise before I die, and I'm too old to enjoy it. And there's a sad story associated with this, folks. When I was in college, I applied for and was accepted to NYU's Semester at Sea, which circumnavigates the globe on a kind of a big yacht, basically, and would have gotten to go all the way around the globe. And I was accepted to the program, and my dad shattered my dreams and told me we could not afford for me to go. And so I did not get to do that, and I was devastated, and I have never really gotten over it. I even remember what I wrote my essay about in my application. I wrote my essay on Hong Kong because it was right before the British were going to turn Hong Kong back over to sovereignty of China. And that's what I wrote my essay on. And I was accepted to the program, and I didn't get to do it. So my ultimate cruise wish list is to go on a world cruise. So if you have a cruise wish list, I would like to hear about it in the comments below and see what everybody else is interested in doing. So thanks again for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. I have lots more ideas, and in less than 2 months, I'm going to be posting videos from our cruise on Mariner of the Seas, so look forward to that. Thanks very much, guys. Have a good day.